Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Web3 startup pitch in April. This month, we have a very special edition as all the participating startups went through our startup incubator program, BFG Superstars. Today, we have digitalsocial.id, Signa X, Chenkster, and Oasiis Insights pitching, and 3 great judges for the Q&A session after each pitch. My colleague Melissa will introduce the startups later in more detail. In case you're watching on YouTube, please leave a thumbs up to support our work and subscribe to our channel to not miss any of our upcoming videos and live events. To our today's agenda. First, I will continue with an introduction about us, the Blockchain Founders Group. After that, the judges will quickly introduce themselves, and then we will start with the startup pitches. And finally, after the pitches, we will announce the top 2 teams of today's pitches based on the judges' scores. I'm very excited to be your host today, together with my colleague Melissa. My name is Jonah Hauch, and I work in business development within the Blockchain Founders Group, which means that I support pushing our growth and that of our startups. Melissa, do you quickly want to introduce yourself as well?
Sure, Jonah. Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa, and I work with Jonah at Blockchain Founders Group. So I do the marketing and operations there, and the Web3 pitch events is one of my monthly highlights. So it's great to meet all of you, and we're looking forward to what the startups have in store for us today. Thanks, Jonah.
Great. Thanks, Melissa. In case you're an investor interested in connecting with us or specifically with one of the startups pitching today, or in case you're interested to start your own startup in the Web3 space, please feel free to reach out to me or Melissa, write us an email, connect on LinkedIn. You can simply find us by our names there, or start visiting our website. We, the Blockchain Founders Group, are mainly doing 2 things. Within our Web3 incubation program, BFG Superstars, we help our participants to accelerate their launching phase, so they will have an MVP ready within 12 weeks. And we invest up to 70,000 euros in selected startups from our cohorts. So far, we have funded 15 exceptional startups within the group, within our program. For direct investments in startups, we work close together with Blockchain Founders Capital. They invest in early stage Web3 startups, usually with ticket sizes between 200 to 500,000 euros. Looking at this overview of a selection of the startups that we have invested in, you can see, for example, Signa X, Oasiis, and digitalsocial.id. So let's stay tuned for their pitches. The Blockchain Founders Group has been initiated by 4 angel investors with deep blockchain and entrepreneurial knowledge from who have formed our board of directors. There is Dr. Thomas Dünser, who is the director of the Office for Financial Market Innovation of the Principality of Liechtenstein. He was the spiritus rector of the Liechtenstein Blockchain Act and is one of the international thought leaders in the regulation of the token economy. We have Professor Dr. Philipp Sandner. He founded the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center, and he was ranked one of the top 30 economists by the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, which is a well-known German newspaper. And since 2017, he has been a member of the FinTech Council of the Federal Ministry of Finance in Germany. Then we have Ulrich Spindler. He is a very successful serial entrepreneur. He founded the MedPax online pharmacy and sold it in 2005 to Doc Morris. He perfectly combines deep technical expertise with entrepreneurial focus. And we have Wolfgang Mennel. In over 30 years of his international career, he has combined experience as an investor, consultant, and entrepreneur. Sarah Gottwald is our managing director. She spent 9 years at BMW working in the financial sector and in the strategy department. And Martina Dünser Davis brings a broad range of experience in business, teaching, and consulting. Also, I'm proud to introduce our core team. We have Max, who is our head of corporate development, John and Albert, who are the program managers of our incubator program, BFG Superstars, We have Melissa, she already introduced herself. Elias is our research associate and is creating amazing content. And there's me, I also introduced myself already. It's fantastic to have our three judges here today, Adam, Sarunas, and David. Please quickly introduce yourself.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Hi, I'm Adam. As the title says, I'm a managing partner for Golden Equator Group. Golden Equator Group, where we're basically ecosystem building group of businesses. So we have venture funds and we have a Web3 fund called Welcome to the Block, which we have partnered with Snoop Dogg's son Cordell on, and we also run entrepreneurship programs. So I personally I'm involved with the Web3 fund, but also I'm involved in a lot of kind of on startup mentoring, growth hacking, and expansion, especially in the Southeast Asia region.
Hi everyone, I'll go next. So my name is Sarunas Legeckas. I'm a general manager of Founderheads. So Founderheads is a boutique VC and incubator based out of Europe. We've been operating for the last 3 years and have a portfolio of around 30 companies. We purely based on Web3. Pretty generalistic investor, you know, in portfolio have very different companies from different verticals of Web3. I'm a founder myself before, so that's why we call Founderheads. We like to be a different VC, very hands-on, always take the founder perspective. So really looking forward to hear the pitches of the startups. Good luck, guys.
Hi all, I'm David Benatar from Turing Capital. So Turing Capital is an asset management firm, digital asset management firm based out in Luxembourg, but the team is in Madrid, most of the team. And the vision of Turing is to become a merchant bank for Web3. So we have the funds, and I'm leading the advisory division. So in the advisory division, what we do is we help startups in their fundraising mission, from interest with VCs to term sheet negotiation and finally investment agreement. We also plan to open our VC arm in the next couple of months. We have an OTC desk for Bitcoin, and we have a market making for NFTs. So that's Turing Capital. Thank you very much for inviting me, Melissa, Jonah, and looking forward to hear what the projects have brought to us today.
Great. Thanks a lot for all the introductions, and I'm looking forward to the Q&A session. I guess there will be some great questions from your side. Now I would like to hand over to Melissa, who will introduce the startups.
Thanks for that introduction, everyone. Now I'll move on to introduce each of the startups we have pitching today. So in this pitching order, we will first have Team Chenkster, presented by Giuseppe and Nicola. It is a platform that provides travelers with recommendations and advice while rewarding creators for their suggestions. Next, we have Team Signa X, presented by Adhika, who's with us today. So Signa X is a 3D asset creation and tokenization platform for the Metaverse. They intend to optimize at the asset production process for enterprises, industries, and projects to build and deploy Metaverse experiences at scale. Third, we'll have Team digitalsocial.id pitching. So this will be presented by Pierre and Simon. This startup provides privacy and trustworthiness of digital identities that enables people to build their online reputations. And our fourth and final startup pitching today will be Oasiis Insights, presented by Elliot and Vincent. The platform aims to help brands, merchants, and marketplaces boost their engagement in sales by creating personalized campaign from customer data. So each of these startups will be given 6 minutes to pitch and will immediately face 5 minutes of Q&A with our 3 judges here today, Adam, Sarunas, and David. At the end of the pitch event, we will announce the top 2 startups for this round based on the judges' scoring using our rubric. So as for the judging requirements, each startup will be evaluated on these criteria. First would be the project's market potential. The startup will be judged on whether they have identified a genuine area of interest in the Web3 space and whether their proposed project is effective in addressing it. Next, technical feasibility. The startup will be judged on how well it has integrated blockchain technology into their project and whether the technology used is a relatively novel application. Third, we'll be looking at the scalability of their business models. The startup will be judged on how scalable their business model or growth plans are from a regional to a global level. And lastly, the strength of the founding team. The judges will be evaluating the team with their educational background or past work experiences. Are they well equipped and confident to deliver the project? So without further ado, let's kickstart the pitching. We have 6 minutes. Let's welcome Team Chenkster.
So hi everyone. If I just share my screen, give me a sec. Please let me know if you see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Good, let's kick it off. Hi everybody, my name is Nicola, and together with Giuseppe, we are presenting you today Chenkster, local advice and global travel. So follow my thought. So imagine you're going to a city, let's say London, Milan, Madrid, or wherever you want. So if you want to really find out what is like a hidden gem, a pro travel trip, maybe there is like a local food market this week. So how you get to this information? As of today, you might go to Google, TripAdvisor, Instagram, etc., and you will try to find the best of you. What we understood, you will have the problem that you will spend several hours of doing this research. You are, let's say, overwhelmed by millions of reviews and a lot of data. And often, unfortunately, you get just a generic view and not really the relevant information you want. Actually, we have validated this problem with more than 500 people. And due to their feedback, we created our vision, which is that we want to make traveling easier for every traveler in the world, while also rewarding the content creators. So actually, our solution will bring ultra-fast advice with a high-quality personalized touch. And thanks to our experts, which are our Chenksters, who are trusted and incentivized content creators, we are getting the information straight away. But actually, let me show you directly our product, how simple it is. So you simply open the app. You write, for example, for Milan, I want a nice coffee. Okay. You click enter, and then the magic is happening in the background. I can tell you already, we will focus just on few topics here because it's not a pure artificial intelligence. It's really what our content creators delivered. And here we go. You see, it's suggesting you like a Momo Cafe. It's telling you in which district this is. And also there's like a pro tip, which is saying, please try the delicious brioche pistachio at the morning. And you have even the address. That's it. And all this is actually supported because we have content creators who are pro travelers and local expert using our dashboard to upload their know-how, and they're getting rewarded for it. The technology behind here is artificial intelligence for the time being, which allows us fast replies, personalized advice, is super, super highly scalable, and we are constantly available. In the near future, we are introducing then in our ecosystem our Chenk token, which is the utility token to be used to reward the Chenksters, build our community and engage them, as well to validate the data we have there and to store it. But whom we gonna actually target with this? Beppe, please.
So thanks, Nico. Our ideal target customer are actually young travelers, and we're starting out in Milan to validate our go-to-market strategy, then scaling it over to Europe and finally to the whole world. How we're going to reach these people is through a mix of online and offline strategies. So starting with targeted ads and strong referral and rewarding system, but also leveraging physical events and advertisement. As you may imagine, the travel market is actually very large. It's a more than $2 trillion market. So we're confident that we can get a great opportunity to convert a 2 billion market share in the upcoming years. Now, talking about money, our business model includes 3 different revenue streams. The first one, travelers will have the chance to access a paid chat with our Chenksters to get help on very specific questions. Secondly, we will provide a freemium model where heavy users will be able to access the whole application features, while on the other hand, all the other users will have access to will have the availability of the full app, of the main features in the app to still use the product. Last but not least, the advertisement will provide the opportunity to high quality businesses to be prioritized in the research. That's getting to the right people at the right moment. Now, you can imagine the competitive landscape includes quite a few well-known players. The thing is that most of them are focusing on getting a high quantity of results of information that, as Nico pointed out earlier, brings to very long time of research. There's even those that are using AI that are leveraging that to get faster replies are actually still providing very generic and not personalized information. So the reason why Chenkster is going to be successful is because we are focusing on guaranteeing low research time and very personalized suggestions, while also leveraging high quality advice, which is pre-filtered by our Chenksters. Also, we are the first in the market to contribute, to give our contributors rewards for their help. Now, the traction so far has been great, with more than 1,000 people in our community across several social medias, and we have already 8 active Chenksters in Milan. And with their help, we managed to help more than 100 people to get the best information, and we're doing that through our MVP service, which is a WhatsApp chat where people can test out and fall in love with our service with a platform that they know already. The funding team is composed by Nicola and myself. Nico has almost a decade of experience in IT project management in one of the biggest corporate banks in the world, while I bring expertise on the Web3 and marketing side, having already founded one company in the past. And you can also see that we visited together more than 50 countries. Plus, we have a very strong board of advisors with senior professionals in the travel market, but also Web3 and startup environment. Now, heading over to the roadmap, you already see what we achieved so far, and we are now focusing on the app launch and also on the side on creating a strong tokenomics plan in order to fuel our ecosystem. After that, we're going to grow our team and our community to reach our goal to convert the first 50,000 users and get 40 cities live by the end of the year. We will then have a strategical checkpoint next year in order to evaluate the next steps as the implementation of a Metaverse experience. So if you're traveling to Milan anytime soon, feel free to try your service on WhatsApp or follow us on social to stay up to date with the next developments. Thanks a lot for the attention and happy to answer any question.
Thanks for that, Chenkster. So we'll invite the judges on now to ask the questions that they may have.
Hi, if I may go first. Well, firstly, congratulations on Chenkster. It's always very nice to hear projects that are solving like problems for the common person, the common Joe like me, and not projects working on some random metaverse lost in who knows where. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
I have a couple of questions. First is where does the money from the rewards for the user come from? So where is this budget coming from? What's the reason, the rationale from the business model if you're charging the user like me, or if you're charging maybe, you know, the local that is presented in Chenkster? I know that could be have some complications, but like if you have thought like the two sides and what's the rationale between choosing one or the other? And lastly, like what do you think is the value add of using blockchain into this project? Because if you don't, maybe you can get to the billion user much faster. So why using blockchain specifically for this and not maybe using dollars straight, because you could do it potentially. So yeah, thank you. Answering any order you can or you want, and congratulations on Chenkster. I'll be a user.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. So David, let me go step by step. So on the business model, maybe I think the easiest is to understand it with a clear use case. So we have the free model, we are using AI. So it's scalable, the cost is almost nothing. Okay, let's skip this part. But then let's say you're from Madrid, right? You want to go to, I don't know, Paris. You have a bachelor party with your friends. Somebody needs to organize, to plan it a bit better. So you need even more customized service. And if we tell you, okay, look, we're ensuring that you have on this two-side market a Chenkster in Paris who's validated by us, and for let's say $50, you're getting the 3-day trip with reservation, organization, etc. And you divide it by 5 friends. This is the revenue stream. So you are paying 10 each, okay? And we are charging, let's say on our side, the fee out of this. So it's like from these two sides, and this is the first revenue stream, what we are getting. Let me give you a second example. Let's say you are, let's say, a bigger restaurant, and today you don't have any. This is the point about the advertisement. Just to give you another revenue stream, why we are choosing this. Let's say you are tonight and you're a restaurant and you have 10 seats free and you don't know where to go, but you're a good restaurant. So for whatever reason, people are not coming. So what we're gonna do is that on Chenkster, we are receiving already the chats. People are asking us, I want to have a nice dinner in Paris or in Madrid or whatever. So what we are offering is, dear restaurant, I have 10 requests. If you want me to click to prioritize you directly, we can do this. You pay me that we are promoting you and you get straightforward. So this is why we are choosing, let's say, the different stuff. And then Giuseppe was telling you in a later stage, with a metaverse, it should not be just a buzzword, because what we want to do, we are creating, let's say for the cities, a kind of virtual lobby. Let's make it easy, okay? Where you can get to this virtual lobby, and we would offer in the future like digital boards where people can make advertisement. So if there is a special event or whatever somewhere, then we will offer this towards the future looking. So this is how we divide our model itself. So depending in which stage of what you need, we can switch an offer, and usually we get the fee. So I hope this answers your first question. If not, please challenge and jump on it. If not, I would skip to the second question, the blockchain technology. So, but let me know if you are.
No, it does. It makes sense.
Good. Then why blockchain technology? So first, tokenization, which is like a huge market. And for the tokenizing, we are incentivizing people gross, because we are a company which will go very quickly global. We are not staying only in dollar, as you were saying, for example, or euro. So we need something which we can adapt, let's say, very quickly all over the world. And this is incentivizing also people. Is it in Bali? Is it in Rio? Is it somewhere else? We should not care about this. So there we are breaking the barriers first. Then smart contracts, okay? We would like to eliminate intermediates. So with the smart contracts, we don't have need to plug in, 10 third parties into our product, outsource a serving, get this usual typical IT landscape with millions of other users. So this is the second point. The third would be a secondary market, because we see in many other use cases that due to the blockchain technology, this decentralized setup, we are offering, let's say, secondary markets. So our content creators will have the possibility, not just 3D objects, etc., but think about a very specific itineraries to share them, like Lonely Planet. They're issuing today's book. Tomorrow they can put it on our platform. You can resell it. So you're not paying any more $30 for a book, putting it in your storage if you don't want that. You're doing it here. You're finalized with your trip. You resell it on a secondary market. And the last point on the blockchain would be in the future simply to not have like one central point of failure. So in terms of data. So if I choose today some of the, let's say, services, I'm really, let's say, depending on where I'm putting my data. So this is something, of course, we need to see how blockchain is developing in terms of cost, how much, let's say, data should be there stored or not. But this would be also a topic we, of course, considering. So that's the reason why we are saying blockchain is absolutely the point to go in the future for our technology.
Thanks so much for that. We'll have one more question if any of the judges have something to ask. Okay, sure.
So I have again, thanks for the presentation. It's I'm a huge traveler. I've been to almost 100 countries. And so it's good to, and I do like to everyone always likes to get a better experience by being, as local as possible. But I have a couple of questions, and one is a kind of an expansion on the first question. I want to understand the tokenomics model. I know you probably haven't modeled it out properly yet, but to me, there's a lot of Web 2.5 businesses. So my question would be like, why Web 3 instead of Web 2.5? There's a lot of existing businesses that can do this without necessarily the need for tokenomics. So what would your tokenomics model be? Because rewarding users is also something that Web 2 is doing at the moment as well. And then the second part would be about defensibility. So again, there's big players in this space, and those big players are already investing some time and money into changing their business models. So what's the defensibility about your model? I think it's very fast scale is something that will need to happen. But yeah, just those two questions, if that's okay.
No, of course. So the first on the tokenomics, so Adam, we can partially answer here. Why? Because if you saw in our roadmap, it's exactly the quarter we are focusing on the tokenomics. So we, of course, have a skeleton already on this. So the reason we are going in this direction is, let's say, to attract also investors, advisors, because we don't have the big, we're also in a phase where, let's say, money is not getting so easy, let's say, spent. So if we set up, let's say, value within our, let's say, content creation, and we are scaling it up with the tokenomics, we want to ensure, let's say, advisors, first employees to get motivated to get used to it. So this is one topic. And then we would like to issue it also in the market, because what we see, and you saw maybe in our advisory board, we have a huge advisor, which is Pablo. He's a CTO for Chain for Travel. So there's a whole blockchain, which have several other travel, let's say, companies on top of it, like Marriott Hotel, Hilton, LATAM Airlines. What they do already is they have already wallets. So what I'm trying to say is that the market itself is already going towards tokens, okay, to be used in digital wallets. So it's, let's say, the right timing why we are saying there is no more question in our point of view if it will come more tokenization all over the world or not. So we are convinced because we see fact-based that it's already there. So, and we don't want to lose the time to think about what and how. So that's the reason of the tokenomics. But this, I think in a month from now latest, I could give you a clear overview.
Okay, I think that just a little bit of a comment is, when you're thinking about the tokenomics and how you're going to structure it and roll it out, what I could see is basically one kind of trading use case. And I think for secondary market sales for tokenomics and for that incentivization, then you need to be able to have a very, very kind of active and multiple stream utility for the tokenomics. Mm-hmm. If it's just user gets them and then user does something with them and maybe sells them, that could actually that's not a compelling case. But anyway,
I agree. There's a small portion, I think less than 15% we planned for this part. So it should be stabilizing. But yeah, we will get back on this. Happy to. Then to defense, how we defend on the big players. I mean,
hi, Nicola. I think that's it for now. That's it, the time that we have for Q&A. We have to move on.
I will write you, Adam, then later the answer.
Wow, we really have to jump in. Sorry, Sarunas. You're going to have to jump in first
problem.
time.
Okay, we'll just move on to the next team now. We'll bring on Adhika, who will be presenting Signa X.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Melissa. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'll just share my screen and get started. Yeah, just let me know when all of you can see my screen and then get started.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, great. Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for joining in. It's a pleasure to be presenting today. Again, a quick overview of what Signa X really aims to do is our thesis is simple. We want to build metaverse infrastructure for the next billion users, and also talk about the whole, I'll explain a bit more in detail through the course of this presentation, but a quick overview about the team, myself and my co-founder. Again, I come from the blockchain world where I did my master's in digital innovation at London School of Economics. And then prior to that, I was also managing the hedge funds and private equity businesses at Goldman Sachs. And then I started my first venture together, coincidentally with my same co-founder, where we built an AR/VR-based experiential education platform for entrepreneurial education. And it was quite a journey. Over 4 years, we scaled it to 10 plus countries, and it got acquired early last year in 2022. And then Signa X was born again with the intention, and we've always been bullish on Web3, and that's really where we wanted to focus on the metaverse and gaming, because my co-founder Akash also comes from a very strong gaming understanding, having headed some of the previous initiatives at Meta, and then now moving to the more of the metaverse and gaming world. Now, quick, background. Again, our belief is metaverse is going to drive the future of the digital asset economy. Again, when I talk about the word metaverse, it's not just virtual worlds, but it's far more in terms of gaming and other real world utilities. While there is a lot of hype about the metaverse, and there was so much talk about the metaverse. Today, if you see, a lot of metaverse and gaming projects are actually unable to provide immersive experiences to really onboard the next billion players, right? When everyone talks about the metaverse, the fact is it's very, very, low in terms of the latency. And this is where enterprises or brands or even gaming guilds for that matter are finding it difficult to build 3D assets and metaverse experiences at scale. Now coming to what exactly Signa X does and how it probably solves the problem is we are, in simple terms, the AI-based 3D asset creation platform for the metaverse and gaming worlds. And we not only create these 3D assets, but our tech stack ensures that they're tokenized in less than 15 seconds. So that is why we are combining not just the whole proprietary AI asset creation platform, but even the tokenization platform. And the utility is not just for metaverse, but as I said, for gaming projects and enterprises to build the digital twins, virtual worlds, 3D environments, as well as other use cases. Now, again, if I have to give a broad overview of really what are the three areas where Signa X comes into the picture is, I think I already spoke about our proprietary AI-based asset generator, which can generate millions of assets in less than a few seconds. The second part is where we combine the whole tokenization aspect, where we've integrated not just creation, but tokenization in a matter of few seconds. And then obviously augmenting this are creators who are able to build out these experiences customized and curated to particular environments, right? So that is very important. Once you create AI-based assets, how are you going to deploy them and actually make them useful in particular environments? That is where we come in. And apart from that, again, types of digital assets, you name it, right from digital twins to characters, avatars, to virtual worlds, 3D environments, arenas, game utilities, again, is a huge draw nowadays with NPCs, vehicles, and some of the other larger ones come into the picture, and obviously power-ups and such as armor, invisibility, speed, you name it, come into the picture. And this is just a quick overview. Again, I'm happy to show the demo as well. It's as simple as entering a prompt, and this is highly advanced, by the way. I know there are a lot of AI hype nowadays, but to actually generate a 3D asset based on a prompt is quite difficult. And where we are coming to the picture is you can add a simple prompt saying, here we've just given an example of ninja character with goggles, and a 3D asset gets generated within a few seconds. So that's the level of scalability we bring to the picture. And these are just some of the projects we've deployed on Decentraland. Apart from that, quick overview, I'm sure a lot of you have already seen, so I'm not going to touch too much upon it. These are the three areas we've been focusing on is, let's say, your hardcore metaverse worlds to gaming, again, is one of the big draw for us, as well as enterprises and brands looking to enter the metaverse. Now, the business model, again, we've kind of enabled a disruptive platform fee where B2B clients can come and purchase a minimum of 1,000 assets. So this is just our cost of asset generation. It costs almost next to nothing. Our cost of asset generation is 0.018. That means for 1,000 assets, our cost is $18, but our subscription is at $1,000. So the margins are pretty high in terms of us generating assets through the platform and then deploying it for B2B clients. And apart from that, the traction, again, as we speak, we have 300 plus metaverse and gaming creators across 15 countries. We partnered with some of the top blockchain networks already building metaverse worlds, such as Polygon. We've just also are launching our game challenge creator platform with Human Protocol. And we are also now later this year going to start building industrial metaverse worlds with NVIDIA. So again, a lot of action happening on that front, over the next few months. And apart from that, really, apart from the whole business side of things and all the pitching, it's at the heart of what we are trying to do is really empower the creator economy in Web3, right? Today, we have people who are specially able to even self-taught 3D creators, to even working moms coming and utilizing our platform to build 3D assets for the metaverse and really giving them a new phase of life in Web3. And TLDR, long story short, our sort of motto is pretty simple. We want to empower 1,000 plus metaverse projects and gaming guilds and over 200 plus million players over the next few years. And our aim is really to be the go-to digital asset creation platform for the next billion users. So with that, I'll probably stop and be happy to answer any questions you may have. And once again, thank you for listening to me. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks, Adhika. We're moving over to the question and answer segment now. Judges, please.
Cool. Maybe I'll go first because I didn't have a chance to say anything last time. So cool. Thanks a lot for the pitch. Awesome. We have invested in maybe 3-4 different gaming metaverse companies, so we kind of understand the problematics and so on. So well done working on that. One small piece of feedback, maybe it seems you guys trying to solve all the problems, right? Like enterprise gaming, metaverses, and everything. I think it's not feasible. When I was listening, it seems I don't want to say it, but it's like whether you are too ambitious or you don't understand what you're doing, right? There are two thoughts in my head, right? So for instance, there is a company, Ready Player Me, that's only doing avatars, right?
Yes.
And they just recently raised 40 million from Anderson Horowitz, and they're only doing one small element, really good avatars interoperable across Metaverse and so on. And basically you're saying you're going to do everything, avatars, brands, businesses, and so on and so on. So what is actually your first target audience, and where do you think are the strongest? So that would be my first question.
Correct. No, thank you so much, Sarunas. It's a very valid feedback and something we've consciously kept in mind as well through our journey. It's just that probably the stage we are in it, we are trying to validate what is our largest demand, and the result so far over the past few months has been Metaverse and gaming. Rather, gaming has been one of our core markets, and we believe that's one of the focus areas for us going into at least the next 3 to 4 quarters, because today, if you see, and I'm sure you've known the market with a lot of investments previously as well, as game creation does take a while, right? It could take anywhere between 6 to 12 months. And where we want to come in is we don't claim or we don't pretend to generate games in a few seconds. That's never going to be possible if you're generating AAA quality games in a few seconds. But where we are coming in is we'll be your AI co-pilot to generate a lot of these assets, which could have otherwise taken time. Let's say a creator on an average takes 6 hours to generate a model. They can do that in 60 seconds on the Signa X platform. So Metaverse and gaming, we believe, are the biggest opportunities going forward. The only reason why we've kind of tried to experiment with enterprises is, sort of building those use cases to see, okay, if there is higher demand, where, as you rightly point out, and this is the feedback we've got through our early, market validation and customers, is there are already dime a dozen solutions out there trying to build metaverses for enterprise. So that's probably not the area we'll go full term or all in. It's going to be metaverse and gaming as the top 2 layers, which we want to focus on going forward.
Cool, thanks. I'll just hand it over to other judges.
Sure. I'd just like to ask a little bit, because you went in the pitch, you went into your cost and you went into your revenue, and you're working with 300 plus companies. So what is your kind of like profit or per customer, and what is your revenue at the moment? Because obviously you've been probably running this model for 3-6 months, and your per cost per generation is very low. However, that also as a kind of flat fee enterprise model also depends on how many calls are being made on it, right? So what is your kind of profitability on that?
Yeah, sure, Adam. Yeah, thanks. First up, I think we are investing, and again, this is a deep tech game. We believe the model can be trained much more significantly. Today, we are able to generate a lot of 3D assets, especially for environments and game characters. But we believe we have to train the model quite significantly over the next 3 to 6 months. So we will still be in the pre-revenue phase for the next quarter or 2. So that's where we are at. In terms of our model cost and the profit, the average cost of asset generation, as I said, is $0.18. Again, even if you take into consideration a lot of cost buffers, etc. And I'll just give you an example. So a cost of generating 1,000 assets for us on the platform, our cost is anywhere between $18 to $20. And then we are giving it for B2B clients.
It was a scary question.
Yeah. Well, I was telling him that he's out of time. We'll just let him wrap this up, and then we can move on to the next pitching startup. Let's see if he comes back.
Okay, because if when he comes back, I want to tell him that he's not actually answering the question yet.
Well, then I think he can pick it up after. We'll be happy to connect
the cost and his model we understood, but he has 300 customers apparently, and so I want to understand, like, as things have been working, how is that model working out?
Yeah, understand. Yeah, maybe in the meantime, we'll move on to the next startup. So, Simon, are you good to go?
Oh,
hi, Adhika.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what was the issue. Yeah, any other quick questions, guys? Or I'm happy to take it off.
Well, I think Adam has a comment.
Yeah, I think sure. you didn't really answer the question. So that was my comment. My question was more around, you're operationally, you said you're working with 300, up to 300 different partners at the moment.
No, Adam, it's just 300 creators. It's just 3D creators.
Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Okay, so you're not actually, you haven't tested the hypothesis on the market yet.
No, not yet. We are still in the building phase. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of your cost model, what is your anticipated margin then? Okay, so as I said, the anticipated margin for every 1,000 assets is around $900. So 90 cents per asset is where we aim to have, and our cost will probably be 10 cents per dollar. Per asset. So it's a 10x if you have to take it. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks very much. We'll move on to Team Digital Social ID now. I'll bring Simon on.
All right. I think I'm there, no? You see everything?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys, then happy to introduce you to Digital Social ID, because trust is the basis for good human interaction, as we all know. And I think we all agree on that as well. And to trust the person, I have to know them better. And in Web3, we have wallets, and they don't really have an identity today. That's the status quo. So a crypto wallet can have very different faces behind its numeric identifier. So you all know there's the public key, but behind the public key, there could be bots hiding and invading decentralized platforms. It actually happens. There could be even criminals lurking in the shadows. And as a business, you don't really want to do business with them, which is also a big problem. But there could also be reputable people on the other side, so to think optimistically behind the wallet, like myself or my co-founder, Pierre. And today, there's just no way to quickly assess a wallet's reputation. And this current reality leads to the fact that your reputation as a user doesn't really matter at this stage. You're unable to access gated services or, an individual treatment as a user as well. And at the same time, businesses are unable to assess the wallet's reputation in one single snapshot, which is hindering the reputable community building process, right? So one common example for this whole problem is that a Web3 user who's intending to take out a loan at a decentralized finance app has to put down up to double the amount of the loan as collateral, which is super inefficient. Why? Because their reputation as a user is unknown, and the protocol has to treat every wallet the same because it's lacking insight. This is just a prime example of the inefficiency of identity information that we currently have on a wallet. Now, this and other related difficulties surrounding the theme of reputation is why we created Digital Social ID, because we're adding a layer of trustworthiness to your anonymous on-chain interaction. Now, to digest that sentence a little bit, let me dive a little bit deeper into how it actually works on a high level without getting too technical. So first, an internet user engages in a trust-building activity or in many trust-building activities in the internet on any third-party platform. One example here could be that the user is working with a lending and borrowing platform and paying back loans, he's not getting liquidated, or we just look at his wallet transaction history or available assets on the wallet. Now, to build a score with us, the user will be asked to connect their personal wallet to our DApp, the Digital Social ID Hub or DSID Hub. And the user can now connect to platforms that he wants to integrate data from. So DSID computes a reputation score for the respective category that the user intends to build a score on. So in our example, it would be actually integrating DeFi apps or reward banks to build a credit reputation score. And at the end, the user can mint what we call a social attestation token or SAT, which is basically the score per reputation category. And technically, this is a non-transferable NFT, so it's a soulbound token that represents the aggregated reputation score made up of all your integrations as a user. Now, important to mention that credit reputation is just one of the DSID reputation pools. We're not just a credit scoring platform, because your digital reputation consists of more than just your financial self. So DSID creates a diverse set of credentials and includes them in different reputation pools. Why do we do this? Because then you have your reputation data managed in one single space and one single dashboard. And this creates multiple use cases in multiple subsectors of the Web3 world. Now, putting it all together, what is the added value here actually? Bottom line, to make it short, you can own your digital reputation as a user, finally cut out middlemen and centralized data silos. Also worth mentioning, no data gets shared without consent, besides obviously your public aggregated score. Now you can bridge also your Web2 personality to Web3, to put your social media reputation on a token. And also having a good reputation score will eventually achieve you exclusive treatments and incentives with businesses that are part of our ecosystem. Now, what's in it for the businesses themselves? You can build a base of reputable accounts, actually. You can identify specific target audiences based on the reputation metrics and even prevent financial losses eventually because less people get liquidated on your DeFi platform, as an example. Now, product sounds great, all good, but how much money is in the market? I think we all agree that blockchain technology is here to stay and also to grow. Our market is mainly decentralized applications who are leveraging the scores of our users. And by 2027, the market for DApps is expected to grow to $368 billion, which is a number we can't really imagine, but something we can more grasp is our projected revenue, which is going to be 1 million revenues by the end of Q4 2024, based on our current projections, calculations, and business model. Now, let me quickly tell you why we're on a good path to get there as well. First of all, we just released our first social attestation token linked to Compound. You can treat this as a proof of concept and try it out at demo.digitalsocial.id. And DSID is also incorporated. We're also funded already, but we're still looking for 1 or 2 angels before we close the angel round and then kick off our VC round right after. And we're also currently building on the Concordium blockchain, actually, which is the layer 1 blockchain, because we received an ecosystem grant for them around 4 weeks ago. So we're in the middle of the process of building our product with them together. Now let's finally wrap up by talking about who's making all this happen. One of the most important things, I think, in an early stage startup. As a founding team, we are a good mix. We have Mohak, who's a full stack blockchain dev with more than 5 years experience as a software engineer, and he does have a good track record of building on-chain scoring tools already. Then we have Pierre, who's taking marketing over because he already sold products that are digital and worth far more than 1 million euros with his own marketing agency that he ran for more than 5 years. And I'm usually the guy that does the talking, the pitching, the fundraising, and all the CEO type of stuff. So I've been working in a venture capital fund for 2 years myself. And prior to that, I did some entrepreneurial activities already in my early 20s. Now, one last fun fact about the team, me and Pierre actually know each other since elementary school. So I like to say that we stick together as a team. And that's also an important fact, I think, for the founding team. Now, that's all from me. Feel free to stay in the loop by joining our early access for everyone, and also follow us on social. And now I would like to take the questions from the panel and discuss whatever is left on your mind. Thanks for listening.
Thanks very much for that.
In the turn-taking sequence, I'll go first. So thank you very much for the presentation. I have a couple of questions, and the first one is kind of a fundamental one. Who are you solving the problem for here? That's where I'm struggling with, because generally theft and not great actors taking part in the space is quite often a problem in the Web3 space, but more often than not, it's the businesses and not the consumers that are struggling with that trust issue. So it's an interesting idea as a concept, as a platform, but who are you really solving the problem for? Because rugging is the bigger problem than an individual person proving their trust, in my opinion. So maybe a question around that. And then you mentioned a little bit about your revenue, but I wasn't listening 100%. But what is the actual revenue model that you're employing around to get to that €1 million?
Yeah, right. So obviously I left that out of the pitch deck, but I thought the question would come, and I can obviously answer the question, right? So that was strategic. But to start with your first question, Adam, you basically answered it by yourself, because you talked about the stakeholder with the biggest pain here, who is the business. So we're focusing on the business problem here. by leveraging the problem of the users to bring them in on board, right? Because we need them, we need the users to give the business the value, because we need their data, right? That the business can leverage. But the money comes from the user side, from the business side. So we're subsidizing users and letting business pay for deeper insights into the wallet history and data. So to make it short, you have the aggregated score. Let's say we're in the reputation of credit right now. So you have the aggregated reputation score for credit that everyone can see. That's public, but it's kind of a black box because you don't really know what it consists of and how it comes to life. So as a business, you might want to query the underlying data behind the score. Let's say the variables that we put into our formula to calculate that score. Those variables, the data feed is not on-chain, it's off-chain. We kind of combining soulbound tokens here on a technical level with traditional identity frameworks. We see verifiable credentials and DIPs. And now the business can query the underlying data and pays per query per wallet. So if you want underlying data from wallet A, you need to pay me a couple of cents to get that data. And the user also has to consent, obviously, to give you that data. And this is how we scale. The more users we have, the more interesting we are for businesses. And the more businesses we have, the more revenue we make. And now kind of projecting this up to a certain amount of businesses and a certain amount of users, we arrive at 1 million by end of 2024.
Okay, so just to push back a little bit on that, my hypothesis is a little bit different. I think because your model seems to be very kind of DeFi focused, right? So because it's quite Web3, it's very Web3. It's not kind of Web3,
that's right.
Right? So that lends itself to more kind of decentralized protocols, which is more like native audience. My hypothesis is more that the user needs more protection than the business, because that's typically where the problem has come from. You know, let's say in a DeFi sense, you know, you're lending money and then it's actually the business that defaults and not necessarily the user. So that was my perspective.
Right, but that's probably a different problem for someone else to solve.
Okay, sure.
But, you know, it's just a little bit of a different case. We're pretty focused on our. We want to enable users. I like to use the word enable. Users to leverage their reputation to make something with it. Right now, they can't use their reputation as currency. It doesn't work. There's no framework for it in Web3. But with blockchain tech, we can make it happen, right? With a platform like DSID. So hence the added value for the user. And then the business wants to just know who's behind that wallet to give some better terms for the user, to have a competitive edge against other competitive businesses. This is why some lending borrowing platforms have open ears to talk with us already, because they want an edge to others, right? If they can give better loans, better terms, because they have a cooperation with us.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I know I'm conscious of time as well. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for that. We will be moving on to the fourth and final pitching team today, which is Team Oasiis Insights, presented by Elliot and Vincent. So thanks very much for coming to the end soon.
Perfect. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Kick off. So look, I mean, great to be able to pitch for you all today. Looking forward to this. My name is Elliot Gareffa. I'm CEO and co-founder of Oasiis Insights. Also here with my fellow co-founder Vincent. And Oasiis Insights is a SaaS Web3 growth tool for marketplaces, brands and merchants to boost their engagement and their sales by creating personalized campaigns, all based on customers' wallet data. And as context, this is a quote by Alex Danko, head of blockchain at Shopify. And I really like this quote because it tells you a lot, right? There's a new kind of buyer on the internet, and these are buyers with wallets, and they tell something really meaningful about who a person is. And they can really be thought of in a way about the same as cookies in the Web2 space. And there's a huge amount of data available, and only if it's used effectively. And this is a gold mine for marketers. There's over 400 million wallets out there, and you can tell lots of different elements of data about those wallets, things like demographics, interest, behavior, and specific data points, things like net worth, their interests, what kind of behavior are they making. And this creates a massive opportunity. We know that there are companies in this space already spending huge amounts of money. You've got 50 billion already spent within the commerce space. And companies want to be able to leverage this data for things like acquisition and marketing, where you already see companies typically spend around 5 to 10% of their revenues on this kind of activity. But there's very much a problem at the moment. It's difficult for Web3 companies to be able to understand data on customers and then be able to create campaigns from it. Companies that we speak to, they have just sections of raw data, aren't able to necessarily get insight on it. And then even if they are able to get the insight, how do they actually do anything with it and create effective campaigns that can get better acquisition and marketing? Even customers we speak to are painstakingly creating tools to get around this issue. Now, the solution, Oasiis Insights, is we create insights and personalized campaigns specific to Web3 audiences. And this leads to increasing engagement and sales. Now, the way that we do this is we use data tags to create personalization. And this is a very specific campaign, one of the select that we have. And this talks you through the kind of journey that a customer would get once a campaign set up. So a customer would go to an NFT marketplace, for example, they would be able to see that there is an exclusive discount offer that they can receive. They would connect their wallet. And once they connect their wallet, they're able to then also enter their email, which allows us to make a Web2 to Web3 connection. And then they're able to receive that personalized offering specific to their wallet, which better converts them. Now, to bring this to life, this is an NFT marketplace mock-up. And you can see here, it's very generic, right? It's exactly what you would typically see at a marketplace, just the standard popular live bidding sections. Now, if you're able to connect your wallet as a user, and then we're able to understand something about you, we then know that we're able to personalize that offering. So you get products specific to your interests. Now we can see here the amount that this wallet owns, and we also understand interests that they have. And you can see here, these are exclusive NFTs specific to them. Now this is incredibly powerful. You can know that you're going to get higher engagement. You know you're going to be able to direct sales because of the fact that you're able to personalize the offering that they have. Now, how do we do this? We get a wealth of Web3 data, and we can understand 500 data points per customer. We can also do this across chains, and it's this wallet tagging that allows us to be able to tailor for personalization. So when a customer their wallet, we're able to understand Web3 tags, so things like average spend, net worth, but we can also understand elements of Web2, things about web engagement, even demographics, and also the data that we get on specific things, i.e. the engagement on them, the activity that they have. And then this allows us to create these personalized campaigns. Now we have a very easy to use dashboard, and from there you can understand the customer analytics, your CRM, but also the easy to set up campaigns. And we went through one, which was on-site product recommendations, but we also have things like exclusive offers, being able to upsell, and also personalized marketing. And these have clear results, engagement, we've already spoken about, increased sales, loyalty, and increased revenue. Now, there's no other product like us on the market. In terms of what we can see for other competitors, we know that companies are looking at wallet insights, and they're also making connections between Web3 and Web2 data, for example, in CRM, and doing campaigns in some senses. But no company is able to really merge Web3 and Web2 data analytics like we are at the moment. And we also run very unique campaigns that isn't elsewhere offered in the market around personalized product recommendations, which is a unique area which we know works in Web2, which we're bringing to Web3, which also is another unique area around integrating directly with on-site, marketplaces and storefronts. Now, in terms of our traction so far, we've seen great interest from a range of customers, particularly marketplaces. One call out is we've got Montreux, one of the biggest watch marketplaces in the world, going into the Web3 space and excited to use our product on launch. We also have Web3 projects interested in us. We have Partouche, which is a massive gambling house, and they are entered into Web3 and ready to use our product as well. And we also have a big amount of interest in the e-commerce space. Shopify have lots of interest in terms of the Web3 standpoint, and we already have over 550 people in our Shopify community. In terms of our go-to-market, we're very focused on NFT marketplaces, but also on Web3 native brands. And this is really because they excel in commerce. And we have 3 different go-to-market strategies. First of all, we're partnering with blockchains as a growth tool. So we're working with projects across Ethereum, Solana, NIR, but also have a strategic partnership with Tezos and Nomadic Labs. We're partnering and integrating with white label platforms, but also marketplaces, so we can integrate with them and offer our solution. and also integrating with e-commerce platforms, like I mentioned, partner of Shopify. In terms of our pricing model, we aim to have a very accessible pricing model, which means that it's easy to kind of just use straight away. So we have a free model, which gets you very basic insights on a limited number of wallets. We then have a basic model, which is then when you get additional features in relation to the analytics and insight for far better insight that you're able to gather. And then we also have a a cost quota you can see there, which increases per the amount of wallets that you use to help us effectively scale to larger clients. And then an advanced model, which once you have these insights, you understand the power and are able to then think about the personalized campaigns you can run off of those. Now, in terms of our team, we have a very experienced team, both in the Web3 space, myself as CEO, over 5 years experience in emerging technology, previously at Capgemini and Vent. Vincent, a CPO, very experienced in Web3 already, founded a successful blockchain consulting company and previously at Accenture. And Steve and Christos from a technical component, decades of experience in this space, incredibly smart and intelligent people. You can see their backgrounds. In terms of our roadmap, we successfully got pre-seed funded by BFG back in December last year and have been building the product since. We're pre-product launch, and so we plan to launch our MVP in June. And after we launch our MVP, we are then, because we're building it specifically for marketplaces and the Web3 projects that we're working with, but then we want to integrate with Shopify e-commerce platforms and expand that offering, including scaling our AI algorithm model and also thinking importantly about the privacy component. And I think we really see the value of what we're building in this space. And we know that there are companies out there that are already thinking about elements of this. And we very much see the possibility of acquisitions from companies like Salesforce late summer line. That's it. And yeah, excited to.
Thanks very much for that. Thanks very much for that, Elliot and Vincent. We'll just head on to the judges for some Q&A now. Just note, maybe we'll just have time for 2 to 3 questions, just in the interest of ending this event on time as well. Judges, please.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Elliot. Thank you for the presentation. So my question is, if the solution is thought for Web3 marketplaces, I saw Montro there. I know Jeremy, I think, is in the call as well. Or if you're all also thinking about putting the solution into Web2 marketplaces, and if so, what's the incentive for a Web2 user to like connect their wallet? Because in Web3, I think the answer is clear, but in Web2, let's say I go to Zara, why would I connect my wallet?
Yeah, so this is very much for a Web3 native audience. So I think in terms of the products that are going to find this useful is where you have customers that are already in the Web3 space. And what you might find is that, particularly for those kind of use cases, you've got some customers that are Web2 native, particularly if you're a Web2 brand going into Web3, but you already have customers that are Web3 native. And really it's companies that have a Web3 audience and want to target to those. And if you have a Web3 audience, that's also when you have data. If you're kind of entering into the space and just connecting a wallet, you don't really have a lot of information necessarily, about that particular wallet. But when you are in the space, that's when it's powerful, right? And that's when our insight and analytics can help better personalize the products that we offer.
Okay, I understand. So it's more thought on the Web3 marketplaces specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome. I'm happy to chip in if David's finished. So congrats, guys. I think you're solving a real problem. The problem is that I was real surprised by the slide saying there are no competition in this field. I personally have seen maybe 20 decks and 20 teams work on exactly the same product. So I think there are a lot of teams working on this, but I guess there is demand for that. Another good thing, I saw you have a quote from Zarta founder, and Zarta is our portfolio company. So I reached out to Nuno yesterday because I was checking the decks before the event, and he confirmed that you guys are smart and good, and they're looking for the product. So well done on that. So I think it's all going to be about execution and go-to-market strategy. So I know you guys had very kind of a high-level go-to-market strategy, but I just would like to kind of double down on how you're gonna really approach it, how you're gonna grow and to meet all those numbers and be the competition here.
Yeah, happy to take that one. Also, I think on the competition as well. Definitely not claiming there aren't others in this space. I think it's more of our approach and unique offering as part of that. But in terms of our go-to-market, really, we're seeing a massive amount of interest from blockchain ecosystems themselves that are looking to better expand and increase the success of the projects that they have building on their platform. So we have a very close relationship with Tezos, Nomadic Labs, and they're very excited about the products because effectively we're a growth tool for their ecosystem. And we're building the same relationship with other blockchains as well to then continue to talk to projects to kind of have that, best interest to kind of scale and get the word out there. So that's very much a model that's worked well so far. So we're planning to expand there. I think once we've successfully, launched and have first paying customers, the idea is to quickly integrate within the more sort of current e-commerce space, I would say. So for example, in Shopify, where there's a massive amount of Web3 adoption that's beginning, but we wanted to kind of expand first into the Web3 space because we know that there's obviously more data and wallets available, but later down the line, as we see greater adoption, we think that Shopify is going to be a big opportunity.
Cool, thanks.
Thanks so much for that, judges, and pitching startups. So now I'll hand the time back to Yona just to wrap things up. Judges, could I get you to fill in the score sheet so that we can begin to find out who are our top 2 teams?
Yeah, thanks a lot to all the startups. Very interesting pitches, and also thanks to the judges for the great questions that really added value to the pitches. I really enjoyed listening to today's pitches. While Melissa is evaluating the judges' results to announce the 2 winners today, feel free to let us know in the comments and chat who is the winner for you. And also feel free to check out our LinkedIn and Twitter channels after the events that we frequently post about updates from our startups, from ourselves, and also announce events like this one that we're doing. Melissa, from your side, please let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, the results are, give me a moment. We've got a close tie going on, so
also a little reminder to the people on YouTube, please, leave us your feedback there if you liked it. Also let a thumbs up, and also, like mentioned at the beginning, to not miss any of our upcoming videos. We also will start to post other content there. Subscribe to the channel so you will not miss any of the videos.
all right. Thanks so much, Yona. The results are in from the judges. Thanks so much for getting this up and ready to go. So in second place, we have team digitalsocial.id, and in first place, we have Oasiis Insights. Congratulations to both the teams. Your pitches were really smooth. Your idea was great, and you impressed the judges the most today. And with all of that, we would like to thank our judges, our startups, and our viewers for spending the past hour with us and for making this event so successful. The event recording will be available on YouTube, and the link will be sent to all participants as well after this. If you would like to get in touch with any of the pitching startups, feel free to reach out to any of us on the team. And if you'd like to attend future editions of this pitch event, you can join us in May at our next event on May 18th. So follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, subscribe to our newsletter to get marketing emails. And we do also have a post-event survey that you would like to scan if you want to. And with not much else, I'll be closing the event. And I would like to thank everybody for attending this with us on Zoom, on YouTube, and for spending your time with us today. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thanks,
Ciao.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonah, and to the founders.